Now, the reason for that is that generalized memory starts to work. If you recall, memory is used in solving problems. And now they take the idea you've given them and they apply it to every context that they encounter to see if it would work. They're repeating your ideas to themselves now. And while we're limited to one expression per day, because they won't believe us if we say it more than once per day, right? And they won't come back to the meeting after a week if we do it every day, right? An individual can repeat an idea to themselves every single context they encounter. And so what we find is the typical assimilation rate for someone who's that generalized from the time that we've introduced something twice or 3 times to them to the time they come back and are fully assimilated and say, hey, I've got a great idea, why don't we do this, is about a week. Because they take that idea and they begin to use it to try to solve problems, and they convince themselves. Now, it's still 64 repetitions, but each person is doing it themselves. And this goes back to our picture of spreading change. As individuals within the organization begin to convince themselves that this is the right thing to do, they also begin to convince other people. That's called the network effect. And as they share these ideas with other people, then we're able to accelerate that change even further. Now, that actually creates a dichotomy, because larger organizations have an advantage over smaller organizations in affecting change, because the network effect adds greater than one result, or greater than a unary result. So the more people I have, the faster that change is going to move, because the more people are going to talk to each other, the more they're going to express those ideas and concepts. So the real question is, how can we manipulate or motivate, probably a tough word here, those values on that confidence horizon formula to get someone up to generalize? Okay? Intentionally designed culture uses memes, right? Anybody know what memes are? Okay, a couple of people. A meme basically is an idea that can replicate itself from one person to the other, so that you don't have to have one change agent going out and telling everybody in the organization. They can share a meme, infect a person, if you will, with a set of memes, and that person will go about their business, and those memes will take root, modify their behavior, and then infect the people around them. So infect is probably not the best term to use when we talk about change, but that's, you get the idea. Anybody ever heard a song on the radio in the morning? It gets stuck in your head? Then you whistle it or hum it or something. All of a sudden, 3 people around you are starting to hum and sing the same song, right? That's a type of meme. That's what we mean by replicating idea. That particular type of meme is called an earworm, by the way. Okay, because it crawls from ear to ear, right, and infects everybody. Now, there are beneficial memes and there are toxic memes. Okay, and so we won't teach you about the dark side tonight. Toxic memes we leave alone. Okay. But intentionally designed culture has a set of standard memes called a meme scheme, right? And the meme scheme is designed to be self-reinforcing and self-replicating within your organization. And these memes are expressed this way. Sense of belonging is one of them. I want to talk about that for a minute. If you feel like you're part of a group, if you feel like you're included and not excluded, then you feel that you rightfully have access to the resources of that group should you need them for anything. So sense of belonging is the expression of the fact that you're included in the group, therefore you have access to resource. Well, resource, remember, was one of our primary components of our confidence horizon formula. So sense of belonging increases the feeling of access to resource, which should increase our confidence horizon a bit. Okay? We can express that. I can talk to you. I can say, hey, please have dessert. Right? There's lots of dessert over there. Go have as much as you like. That sort of thing. So if having dessert makes you feel more confident in the future, well, there you go. You have resource. We can also express it non-verbally. Right? A simple act of service is enough to make someone feel included. And if someone is at B, remember, we want to be able to help that person. We want to be able to affect change with them. And someone at B where verbal cognition is not working, it's emotionally responsive, that person is very difficult to get in touch with, right? An act of service can bridge that barrier and can provide sense of belonging to them so that they feel they have resource and move them to act. And at act, you can talk to them. Verbal cognition turns on. And so now you can speak with them, which is why when we conduct meetings, right, we always start by offering something in the meeting. I actually have a friend of mine who's a cultural engineer who trained with us, and when he starts a meeting, before everyone gets there, he looks at the attendee list to see how many chairs he needs, and he takes one out of the meeting room. So somebody's missing a chair. And that way, when everybody comes in, he goes, oh, I'll go get you a chair. And he runs out, grabs a chair, and brings it in as an act of service for someone. So we don't ever tell him that he does that. And when he gets caught by the customer, they usually have a good joke of, and then he never gets to sit down in a meeting again. But it's, finding some way to provide an act of service. Chocolate's a good idea. Okay? Taking chocolate to meetings usually works. Now, understanding where your work fits in the big picture. Okay? If we help someone understand where their work fits in the big picture, we've provided structure. And providing structure limits risk. I've limited the area that their decision can impact. Therefore, I've limited the number of things that can go wrong. And by reducing risk, we are able to improve confidence horizon. There's less chance I'm going to screw something up really badly. Right? And then being trusted to make the best decision. This is really important. These three memes feed on each other. And so being trusted to make the best decision possible means we've offered you your resource. We've assigned a set of decisions for you to make. And now as a group, we're telling you, however you decide to use that resource, we are 100% behind you. We know that you will find the best possible solution. Now, what happens then is people begin to feel accountable. And accountability starts to kick in at a personal level. Say, well, I really want to be careful with the resources of the group that I've been trusted with. And that means I need to go find out the best thing to do. Time pressure has been removed. There's a feeling that, yes, we need it, but we'd rather have a good decision than a rushed decision. And you'll get that decision really quickly. Right? The need to find the best solution develops, and then memory starts working. And that drives somebody to generalize. And suddenly, they're on a self-sustaining change path. They're going to be able to manage change. They're going to be able to be more effective, which, of course, increases their resources because they can get more done, et cetera, and so on. Now, one of the things we find about confidence horizon, there was a great study done. We talked about reward mechanisms. And we had a double-blind study that was conducted. And in this double-blind study, they wanted to see which was a better reward mechanism, money or recognition. So they took 3 teams. One was the control group. And they told the control group, we're going to give you a project. It's going to last 6 months. That's it. You're going to be employed. You've got 6 months of work to do. Get the project done. They went to another group and they said, we're going to give you a 6-month project. Here's the project plan. If you get done early, we're going to stand you up in front of everyone, and we're going to offer all this recognition. We're going to have a party in your honor. We're going to give you badges and plaques and rewards and things like that. And the third group, they said, if you get done early, we're going to give you the money you saved. You're going to get a monetary reward. So the earlier you get done, the more money you make. Right? Anyone want to hazard a guess as to which group actually got done on time, or actually, way ahead of time? It was the control group. Right? The control group beat everybody else hands down. The other 2 groups actually delivered behind schedule and way over budget. Well, when they went back and reviewed the results and figured out what had happened, they found that people became resentful of the person that was withholding the reward. And that shattered their confidence in the future because they felt like that person had taken control of some part of their lives, something that they felt like they should deserve anyway. And by withholding that reward from them, they began to resent that person. And as they began to resent that person, their confidence horizon dropped. And as their confidence horizon dropped, their cognitive layer dropped. They became less efficient. They started to bicker. The teams began to fight. Now, the control team's over there going, hey, we're good for 6 months. We can plan ahead. We know what our schedule's going to look like. We've got all this control over our work. Nobody's withholding anything from us. We've got all the resource we need. It almost sounds like an ideal working environment, right? They delivered in half the scheduled time. It was fantastic to see. It was a huge change, a huge difference. So when we look at the effect of confidence horizon, what we see is by changing confidence horizon, we can seriously impact the cognitive layer on which someone operates and help them get above the line so that they're going to be able to achieve self-sustaining change, and your change begins to ripple through the organization. Now, as they have extra resource, they'll begin to share it with other people, which then has the further ripple effect. Now, keep in mind, these memes are designed to copy themselves. So as they work with other people begin to work like they do. And that effect begins to spread. Okay? So we look here and we say, what's our reduced time for self-replicating or for self-sustaining change? In order to affect change within an organization using this approach, we still have the same 25 concepts. Right? We have free replicating memes. We're no longer constrained by 1 expression per day. And we have 64 expressions per concept. That hasn't changed, but who's doing the work has. Now the people we're trying to change are doing the majority of the heavy lifting for us. IDC-based cultural change requires, on average, 7 months. Okay, and we'll talk about a healthy organization. That's taking an organization that is at B and driving them to generalize and having them self-adopt these changes.